can you be pain-free but still have an injury, still have dysfunction going on? I had this question recently in relation to healing from an injury, so a chronic problem, and what was the relevance of being pain-free in terms of the course of getting better. So the question was more around, I don't feel pain anymore, so where do I fit on the continuum of this injury? Am I good to go? You can still have some dysfunction left over, but you don't feel pain. There's a good way to explain this using a symptom threshold model, and I can't claim to be the owner of this. It was put together by someone far smarter than me, but it's a really nice way to explain it. So, everyone has a symptom threshold, and so this green line is the point that you might feel pain or some sort of symptom, but let's go with pain, right? Everyone's symptom threshold is going to be at a different level. Some people feel pain very easily, and some people can take a lot more inputs and a lot more stimulus before they feel anything. So it's different for most people. But let's say in the case of someone that's got back pain, we've done an assessment and we've figured out that this person has a lot of dysfunctional tissue in their low back. They're not moving particularly well, and this has been happening over a long period of time, right? So we're going to assume that there's a fairly large block of dysfunction, okay? This is stuff that we can change. So this is a good thing. This is something that we can treat clinically, okay? Now, on top of that, we might have another block. That could be where that person is a desk worker. So they do a lot of sitting, which loads up the back even more. And maybe since the pandemic started, maybe they've been working from their lounge, for instance, which is even worse on the low back in terms of load. So that adds another block on top of it, okay? Let's say that this person loves to work out, all right? They love to do weightlifting. They've done that for a long time, and high intensity exercise. So maybe CrossFit or something like that, okay? That adds another block on top, and it's a pretty big block. So it crosses symptom threshold. Once it crosses this line, that's where you get symptoms, you get pain, okay? Now we can modulate these things, so we can influence it. Until they come in for treatment, this lower block here is not moving, okay? It's still pretty significant, but we can modulate these top ones just with some activity change. So let's say the low back starts to hurt, stop going to the gym. Drop back down under that symptom threshold. So for a short period of time, you're probably going to feel like there's not much pain there, okay? It's going to feel a little bit better. So we go back to the gym. We think we're feeling good, things are good, we're going to go back to the gym. Boom, straight back over that threshold. Starts to hurt again, okay? Maybe it hurts a little bit more this time. So we need to look at this in terms of what's going on here, here, and here. If we really want to get on top of that though, this one down here is our biggest opportunity, okay? We can stop doing these two top things here and get down immediately, but because of this big block at the bottom in terms of the actual tissue dysfunction, as soon as you start layering some activity back on top, it's going to push it up over this symptom threshold. So this is where we need to start making some changes here. If we can reduce this down, start down here, then get it down here, then get it down here. Maybe if we can just get it down here, we've got very little amount of dysfunction, we can start adding back some activities. We can start adding back some working out. We can change the ergonomics, and we can change the techniques of sitting, so we can make that a very small contributor on there. Suddenly, we've got this nice big gap all the way up here. There's this nice buffer now to that symptom threshold. So we're really, by taking care of this stuff at the bottom in terms of the dysfunction and getting that out of there, ideally we get it completely out of there. But we create this nice buffer. there's a much bigger zone up there where the body is free of symptoms, and it's a healthier state to be in. So ideally, we can even reduce this workout block down a little bit as well with some better technique and some better understanding of what is appropriate for that person. But the more that we can shrink this down, it's contributing less to the load on the tissues, less to the load on the joints, and overall it's just creating more longevity. So can you have dysfunction and not have pain? Absolutely. As long as we're down under this line by a little bit, we're going to be fine. So we might have just enough there. So we might still have all that dysfunction. We might still have the crappy sitting and ergonomics at home, and maybe the workout stuff on top of it's just not that intense to tip it over the barrier. So someone could operate here for quite a long time before they actually get any pain, any problems. But as soon as it tips over there, boom, we've got some pain. So my role here is to really affect this clinically and get that down as much as possible, and to help you to understand what's going on here and make some changes around that so that we can modulate it down even further. Okay, that's all I got today, guys. If you've got any questions, please shoot them through.